Here we go.
Hey, what's up? I'm Tony Taylor. Are you here for Leaders Lead the podcast? Let's go. Hey, how did you beat me? Look, let me tell you about this podcast. We got like 5 seconds. Leaders Lead the podcast is about leadership. Not just the leader without, but the leader within. All of these leaders that I'm talking to across the country, well, across the world now, they have one thing in common, and that's that they have overcome some insurmountable obstacles to get to where they're at today. Come on, let's go.
Hey, welcome. This is Leaders Lead the podcast. I'm super excited. I got a special guest for the show. He is my brother. I don't throw that term around too much. He is Enrique Gonzalez. I've been knowing Enrique for quite a bit. We never met in person, but we've been communicating, I would say, the last, 5 years or so?
5 years.
5 or more years, man. For those of y'all that are listening, those of y'all that are watching, I brought Enrique onto the show because he is one of the people that when I'm looking at my content, I'm looking at some of the things that I'm doing with my podcast. There have been some times where I'm just like, man, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work, or should I do something else? It's happened quite a bit. I'm not even gonna lie. It's happened a couple of times throughout the years, but man, I look at Enrique. He's like the Energizer Bunny, man. He just keeps going and going and going and going and going. But aside from that, something that I've been really inspired about with Enrique is he's doing something that was really hard for me, and that was accepting awards. I was looking through my phone a couple months, and Enrique was like, "Man, you better go and start getting some of these awards, or you better go." And I had one. He had put me on for the Rosie Awards. He's like, "Man, you better order that damn award." He just was on me about it, and I think it was, there was, a lot of us. We have this thing. I've always had this thing with trophies where, oh shucks, I don't deserve it, or it's just a trophy, it's just whatever. But we put in this hard work. We do all of these things for a reason. And I want to tell you, Enrique, thanks for pulling me freaking forward and putting that into me that no, go forward, get your award, go forward. You're putting in the work. And yeah, man, I just want to tell you publicly, thank you for that, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you're welcome, brother. It's our task, it's our joy, it's our privilege as leaders to bring somebody else along. And if you're not doing that, shame on you. All right, shame on you.
Yeah, I love it. So it's kind of like a leadership thing. I hadn't thought about that, and it kind of goes with your show, developing the leader within, which is still going strong, right? How are y'all doing with the podcast now?
Yeah, we'll come up on 300 by this year, and we're excited for that. 700 overall over all the podcasts that I've been doing since I started podcasting, but 700 episodes. It's great. Love what we're doing, what we're bringing to the audience, and the global impact of leadership is there. We just have to bring it, and so I'm glad to do that.
That's cool. What made you originally want to start your podcast, and what problem were you trying to solve when you did that?
Yeah, it was coupled with the fact that it was the pandemic and I had just let go of my job. I wasn't one of those that got fired or pink slipped or nothing. No, like the day before everything got shut down, I told my employer, thanks, but no thanks. Right. And so the next day I'm like, turn on the news and everything shut down. I was like, oh, but I'm still happy I did, right? Because then I've started figuring out, okay, well, you're out of a job and it doesn't look like anybody gonna be hiring anytime soon because they're closing down as well. What do? I said, don't sit on your knowledge, man. You got all this knowledge from the military. You got all this knowledge in leadership. Don't sit on it. And I said, well, the only way is to do this podcast I've been talking about forever. And literally, I
Mhm.
had been talking about this since 2009 or so. And
Wow.
so here's 2020. That's a long time. And I said, well, just do it. Share some tips, share this, that, and the other. And that's how that all got started. So February 2020, we started, and we're still around. And the purpose was that I had run across so many leaders in the United States that were oblivious of how the world works. The
Mm.
world, not the states, not your city, but the world. And we travel the world as service members.
Mhm.
So and I saw this one video of a president, let's just say that went to an Arab nation, and this Arab nation has a law: no one touches the crown prince.
Mhm.
What this joker does, he goes on national TV and pats him on the shoulder, and then gives him when you pat somebody on this side and then you go over there and they look and you're like, hi, on national TV. And so
Oh man.
I said, man, if our leader is going around the world
Mhm.
uneducated
Mhm.
and unlearned about how the leadership of this world works, imagine common day folk. So I said,
Wow.
you know what? I'm going to bring world leadership to my audience. And that's how it became an international show. So we've had guests from all over the world that are doing leadership, educating, my listeners on how it really works.
Ah, dude, that's super dope. I love that, the leadership on not just here or not just in a corporation, but leadership on a world stage. I think that's beautiful. A lot of people that I work with, they are they're struggling to find a niche, and they go on this journey of
Mhm.
what should I talk about, what should I, oh, and it's a long process. I got some people that's been the last 2 years still trying to figure out like what they're going to start their show about. But you you did something that I think a lot of people should do. Like what is something that you wish that you can tell somebody if you had a big stage to do it? Or what is there that can really piss you off? And I would imagine, yeah, I don't know, seeing that kind of stuff, yeah, especially it represents us as a country, seeing the ignorance like that kind of stuff it pisses me off, because you know gone are the days where um and I know I might get a lot of slack from the military community for saying this, but I don't care. Gone are the days where people say, "Oh, where you from?" They say, "Oh, America." They're like, "Oh," and you have this like pride and this and that. But now when I talk to like my friends that live in Germany and stuff like that, the first thing that they say is the the BS that comes behind that, and it just I'm not used to that. So I think what you're doing on a broader scale, I think that I think that that's incredible. When you first started your show, you left from, and that's something me and you we have in common. I left my job, and then I started my podcast. Did you have any people that were telling you that what you were doing, that it was stupid to start a podcast?
No, because like I mentioned, it was the pandemic. Ain't nobody talking to nobody. they they didn't even want to breathe in your same space. Right. So it was a time where you were literally on your own.
Mhm.
You couldn't congregate with nobody to, do this and that, and let's talk this over. What I knew was that I was seeing an increase of ignorance at the highest levels of our government and leadership
Mm.
as to how to engage another leader at a leadership stage. I mean, there are leaders, even now. Now, this was back then, but even now, there are leaders that are being brought in to, let's say, the White House
Mm-hmm.
and being ridiculed in front of the news.
Yeah.
Like, put on the spot.
Gone are the days where we say praise in public, admonish in private, right?
Oh, like, and it's being taught at that level. So I aim to ensure that those that want to do it the right way can learn how. Because I would never call my grandma over to my house
Mm-hmm.
and say, "Hey, what's wrong with you?"
Right.
Because
Right.
in my house, I get slapped, right?
100%.
So if you don't do that in your family makeup, why would you do that on a platform where you have equal leadership?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, I see that, and there are moments, I won't lie, where I feel so disappointed that as a citizen, I'm ashamed.
Wow. Huh. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so teaching others and helping them understand that you don't have to bully your way through leadership. You don't have to do that to get what's best for everyone. You do that when it's what's best for you.
No, yeah, man. I think that's the thing. It's like when people get in those leadership positions, it's like, why did you get into? Why did you want to become a leader? That's like the first question. And if people, whoever were electing these people, if they ask them serious questions and they really ask them, like, not without this fandom and all of this crap, and they really asked them and they dove a little bit deeper, and I think that they would see the truth that a lot of these people that are doing these things, they're not in office to serve the people, they're in office to serve themselves. And I'm hard pressed to think that if we were a little bit more educated with that process, then those people wouldn't get elected.
Yeah. Um, so it's funny to mention this particular thing, election, right?
Mhm,
We're far from it now, but there was 91 million people that did not vote.
mhm.
That's that's a lot of people.
It is.
And so only about 40 something million and 40 something million, kind of bantered over this, that, and the other. The biggest and the loudest voice, the ones that didn't say anything.
Huh.
And that's powerful. But having said that, that's another leadership lesson, that even when you say nothing, you say a lot.
A lot.
And so you might as well say what's supposed to be said instead of nothing, and then it still carry a heavy weight, right? And in
Mhm.
leadership, sometimes we skirt that responsibility because we don't want to be seen as this, that, and the other. But in leadership, your voice counts and it must be heard. You don't have an option to refrain from expressing what you know is best.
Right.
And a lot of leaders take that route, and then that's how things go, up in the air and explode because somebody didn't say something, right? Or you have a climate that's maybe not as conducive to the best for the nation happen because 91 people, 91 million said nothing.
Yeah, imagine if, and those people, there's one thing I think about those people, they didn't vote because, they felt like the candidates sucked, but I'm just guessing that the one that got picked, that they wouldn't have picked them. And when I look at all the people protesting, especially like all over, I mean, they're like all over the place in the United States that were protesting that. I always ask myself, like, I wonder how many of those people did not vote. And it's their right, but I
Yeah.
always think, like, how many of them did not vote? How many of them did not ex, ex like execute the power that they actually have?
Yeah, and the way I see that sometimes, and I agree. Um, I only want to see 40 something million out marching. I don't want to see no more than that. Because if you didn't make your voice heard, then I don't want to see you out there.
Yeah,
No, don't come now. Right?
yeah.
And that happens in leadership. That happens, oh, I didn't want to say that, because I might lose my job. And then when people start losing your job, you're like, no, no, get back
Where
in
were
your
you?
office where you were
Where were you?
when you
Yeah,
had the opportunity to say something. But
yeah.
the leadership is dynamic, and there's a lot, you mentioned it. It's their right. It's your right to choose to or not to. But it's
Hmm.
also your right to understand that if you wasn't a participant, then don't be a participant. Keep that role all the
Hmm.
way till you die if you want. But but don't come in the mix now that it's painful, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about the man. Whenever we talk, man, I love talking leadership with you, man. It is the best. I was thinking, with the voting and the elections and all of that stuff. One thing that stood out that was pretty significant, especially towards the end, and I don't know if you caught this, but that podcast run, I feel like that the podcasting space is what won it.
It
What are your thoughts? Were
made
you
great.
tracking that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, especially once they started saying we're going to open media to less listened voices.
Hmm.
And I looked at the less listened voice, and most of all of them were podcasts.
Yeah, it was the podcasters and the influencers. They're the
Yeah,
ones that now I think they're the ones that got to like view some briefing off about the Epstein files and all of that, like, and they're
yeah,
getting press credentials now,
yeah,
right?
exactly. And you think I ain't apply for one of them jokers? As soon as I saw that, they're like, "Hey, go to White House." I'm like,
What happened? Did you get any feedback?
"No, they didn't call me."
Uh, well, you know why they call you, man.
Yeah, I'm
I think,
teaching it right, so that's what I chalked it to.
yeah, yeah, man. It's interesting that you say that and that you applied. I'm noticing a rise of content creators. I feel like people that look like me and you, if we were to be a part of this, like the rhetoric that's going on right now, the lies, the hate, the vitriol, I feel like it would boost our platform up
Yeah.
tremendously. I've seen it. I mean, being on the phone with people, they have these one views that I'm just like, I can really get down behind that. And then I see them posting some stuff on social media, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like they blow up. It's like female, black people, Hispanic, people in
Yep.
the BIPOC community. If your views are like all the way over there as far as like the right,
Mhm.
and thinking that all of this stuff is cool, then it's like you get a bigger platform. What keeps you uh from going that route, and for staying grounded and being the leader that you are?
Well, for one, I serve one God.
I love it.
That's it. I serve one God, uh, and His name is Jehovah, right? And so that's it. Anything that does not fall in line with that, because I'm temporary.
Mm.
I'm fit. What on Friday I'll be 54, right?
Happy birthday.
54 years old. Lord bless me. I got another 40. You know, if right, I always say I'll get to 100, and from my mouth to God's ears, right? But if not, I don't got no more time here.
Mm-hmm.
I got a retirement left. Really, 30 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't I'm not playing this world's game no more.
Oh,
Yeah, my deposits are heavily. And so if what I'm doing is not in line with my adoration and love for God, and it's not in line with the things that Christ taught us, then I ain't doing it, because I'm moving on. I'm going the other way. And so all this game that is being played in the world, because that's what it is, I don't have time for.
I love it. I love it. And that's what it sounds like. That's what keeps you grounded. It's just being who you are.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love it. Um, what were, when you first started your show, what were some of the things that you did that gave you traction from the beginning?
Yeah. So podcasting it can be difficult, and you know it, right? We've had a lot of conversation around uh podcasting. Just a podcast is a bad idea. It's
I
a
love
bad
it.
idea, right? So um what I realized was that I had a community already around leadership, right? Triad Leadership Solutions was already a thing. Actually started at about the same time as my podcast, around 2 years earlier, 2018. And so I already had some people that had appetite for leadership development. It was easier to move into that direction because the audience was kind of there. But I'll tell you that everyone in that audience that was giving me ear to my leadership development were not willing to go and click on subscribe.
Yeah,
It is the hardest thing to have somebody just click a button. It's
it
not
is.
going to send nukes nowhere in the world. All right. It ain't going to do that. It's not even going to take from you. But getting folks to listen and to subscribe and to do the simple thing has been a 5-year challenge, man.
Mhm.
It's been crazy to get that. And so just here recently, this last week, the channel, Developing the Leader Within podcast, went over 1,000 folks, right?
What?
Yeah. So, that's a huge deal on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it is.
But it was 5 years, folks. If you don't think that doing podcasting is difficult, go ahead and try it. Most of all podcasts that are started will end by their 5th episode. That's it. And so, you have to really calculate your dedication to a thing like this, what you're willing to do to keep it going, and how are you going to target the folks that really want to listen, because there's a lot of people that want to develop in leadership for free, by the way. For free, by the way, and just don't know that you exist, right? So it's a challenge to get those people, but your platforms, whatever you IG, Facebook, whatever, LinkedIn, or they have a way of targeting those folks, right? If you say, hey, I want this show to go to a youth that just started college, like your daughter, and is trying to work on themselves so that when they do get into leadership, they're the best thing that ever happened to that company.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, yeah, all these people meet that criteria. Hey, sometimes you got to pay for it, right? You got to pay for those targeting. But it really makes a difference when you are speaking to the audience that is intended to receive your content.
I'm glad you said that, because I probably get throughout a week, maybe 6 or 7 folks last time I checked, where I'm like, okay, so who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to serve? Well, Tony, everybody. And I'm just like, oh no, back up. You can't, you,
All 8.7 billion, huh?
yeah, back up. You can't serve everybody. Who are you speaking to? What's that pain? Because one thing that I noticed, the people that go in there hot like that, they want to serve everybody. Those are the people that burn out. What keeps you from burning out? And have there been moments where you're just like, man, I'm going to walk away from this? And what are some things that you've had to do to stay consistent and keeping that motivation?
Yeah, I believe, unless the Lord corrects me here, that I have not considered, oh, I'm not going to do this thing. I have had other shows that I have closed down, right? You remember we had the Leadership Void podcast, which is
I think I was
military
on that.
centric. You was on that.
Mhm.
That shut down last year, July. And I've had others, and I do others, right? So what keeps me from burning out? I do this for one person. I do it for one person. I don't do it for the numbers. I don't do it for, this, that, and the others. The numbers are good. Folks on YouTube, both for Tony and I, it helps for you to hit that subscribe button.
Oh yeah.
Right. But when I do my show, I do it because I know there's one person that has been dying to receive that information. They didn't have to pay for it. All they had to do was dedicate half hour. Our show is a half hour to an hour, right? Half hour to listening and getting that free education from people who are doing it right now. And so when I do it that way, I realize that one person is waiting for this. They're waiting for it. They can't pay for it. They can't get a coach. They can't do this, that, and the other, but they're waiting for it. And they're one listen away from a breakthrough that maybe will help them be able to afford a coach and get the help they need individually, right? So that's how I kind of address it, so that it's not a burnout situation.
Oh, I this is good stuff, man. While you're talking, this is the podcaster in me, man. While you're talking, I'm like, oh, that's a clip. I'm like, oh man, that's a bar. I hope that our editor gets that. So good. um One of the things, when you're talking, one of the things that I think about is just like what you said, is that one person that can listen to the show, that one person that can get value. Because when I first started, it was so doggone slow. It was so slow. And looking at, I'm not gonna lie, I would look at the metrics and I'd be like, oh my god, nobody's downloading. Why is that? But then when I focused on that one person that you're talking about, not only did it help my numbers, but it helped me focus on the actual person. It helped me focus on that niche, right? And so now I'm talking to one person, but then all of a sudden that one person turned into like 50,000, 60,000, 100,000. It's just like, oh my God, I wish I would have been doing this from the very beginning. Right?
Yeah.
Is there something that you do right now that you wish you would have been doing from the beginning?
If there was anything that I believe would have made a difference from the beginning, would be targeting. Yeah. If I were to have invested some money to let these platforms target for me, saying, hey, this is what the
Platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook stuff?
yeah,
Okay.
any platform that you use that you share your podcast on. Because even Headliner which is a editing app where I create some of my teasers, they'll target, for a small nominal fee.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I believe that I would have had greater success in reaching those audiences earlier. And then I would have had those audiences grow over the 5-year period.
I love it.
But when you start podcasting, you're funding everything, right? And so you gotta figure out what fund needs to go first, right? You gotta pay for this platform, you gotta pay for that editing, you gotta pay for, and so targeting, you say, oh, people will catch on. Well, people don't catch on. They don't.
Yeah.
You have to get it in front of the people that want to hear some of that. And I think that would have made a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the listeners and viewers, he's not talking, when he's talking about targeting, he's not talking about, especially my newer podcasters right now. He's not talking about those folks that are in your DMs that are saying, hey, I'll get you 100,000
Oh, no.
subscriptions or downloads. He's not talking about that. Because
No.
if y'all use that, that is the quickest way to send your podcast to hell.
Yeah.
It will send it to purgatory. What he's talking about is using LinkedIn, using Facebook, using Instagram, to use something that they've spent billions and billions and billions of dollars on to find that audience for you inside of that platform, instead of just posting and praying and posting, which is like what a lot of podcasts do. Hey, check out my new podcast episode. Nobody gives a damn. Yeah.
Good for you.
Right.
You get the Nancy Pelosi.
Congratulations. What can you do for them? What kind of value can you have for that person? And if you're not talking to that person, that one person that Enrique was talking about, that keeps him motivated to keep talking to, then you're not going to be talking to anybody. Systems as far as editing, recording, and publishing, do you have a system? Do you find any value in having a system?
There is value in systems, or they wouldn't be there, because they are businesses that answer a pain point, right? Just like any business, they're there because they found out that there was a pain point and they're answering it, right? So there's good things on systems. You just can't allow the systems to run your system, right? And so, and I'll give, for those that are listening about the targeting piece, I'll give you an example. I used Headliner, and Headliner has a pro part, and they got one that is specific to pushing out your episode and getting the numbers, right? Which we'll talk about here shortly.
Oh, I didn't know Headliner did that.
Oh yeah, they do. And so I
teach me, oh great one.
Yeah, so I said, hey, Headliner, I love you guys. Let's do something. Show me what you could do with one episode, and then I'll see about it. Right. So I gave them Anthony Trucks. And Anthony, man, we love that brother. He's as sharp as a tack, right? So I say,
yeah, hey, he was on here too.
Anthony, yeah. Take Anthony's episode and show me what you could do. And one day, that episode got downloaded 1,084 times. One day.
Wow.
The second, I'm looking at my metrics now. The second one under there is 153. So,
okay.
Number one, I will give Anthony the props he deserves, because I love that brother. He deserved that and more, right? But so do all the other guests that are, worldwide. I mean, I've had presidents, dignitaries, royalty. I've had all kinds of folk, politicians, all on. And Anthony got that because I used a platform. The platform got it in front of the eyes of people who wanted to hear something like that, and voila, right? So that's just one thing to talk about platforms and to talk about targeting altogether. Now, you have to make a choice on how you want to set up your podcast. Who's going to host it, right? In the early days, I didn't have no money for no hosting site or people to pay or anything. So all the big ones were out of it, and Anchor was it, right? Because what they would let me do is load, had them loaded for free, and then they would host it. I couldn't make no money or this, that, and the other, whatever, but that's fine because I just needed that out there. Anchor became Spotify, right? Because they got bought out by Spotify. And it's a system. I still love what they do, and I'll still use them. Headliner I use for my little clips, my audio clips, right, and little picture and all other stuff. That's great because they're a platform, and they facilitated that surge in listenership for Anthony. There are other, editing things that I use, so I use iMovie because it's part of Mac, and it's free, and I know, and I learned how to use it. And so I use that. But there are so many other ones that I use. Opus I pay for and use. vidIQ I use for my YouTube channel, and YouTube, and then all the other social platforms, right? They facilitate. Now, I will tell you that podcasting has not only been noticed by the White House, it's been noticed by everybody. And podcasting is taking up some steam. And it's really the next journalism arm of how we digest media. It is. So good time to get in, but yeah, talk to somebody and structure yourself well with all these platform and apps so that you can maximize your launch, right? And that's how you want to do. You want to maximize your launch and generate some good viewership and support throughout the years that you'll be doing it.
Yeah, I love that you said launch because I notice oftentimes a lot of content creators they'll do either one or two things where they'll overthink themselves. They'll get the analysis by paralysis before they even start, or they'll just say, "Screw it, I'm just going to start, and I'm not gonna plan. I'm not gonna do none of that." And it's just like, oh my god. I don't. There got to be some kind of happy medium. So how are you launching? That's always my question. How are you launching? Something else I was going to ask you: what is one tool that if I said, Enrique, I'm going to take all your tools away, and you only get to have one in podcasting? What is that one tool that you would keep?
My vidIQ.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke. That has made a difference in SEO. SEO is huge in this media world. If you don't have proper SEO, it just doesn't get caught by people. These keywords are no joke keywords, and people are searching for these on Google, on YouTube, on all the other, platforms you got. And those words are being linked back to your show. And your show, if it's properly structured with SEO and the titles are good and catchy and this and the other, that has made the difference. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it.
Wow.
When I use that tool.
I love it. So vidIQ, we're going to cut this up and send that to them.
Yeah. I'll give you a code afterwards.
I love it. I love it. What your show is you do video and audio, correct?
Yeah.
What have you been able to do to make that easy on yourself? And is it easy?
Oh, it's real easy. So I teach a podcast one-on-one course, and this is the one thing that gets most people. Podcasting is audio. That is the actual definition of a podcast, an audio, disseminated medium, right? So
I've gotten so many fights about this
right, yeah.
online. Yep.
What happened when video, right, YouTube came on the scene was that you could, put it on a audio platform like the podcast platforms, but YouTube will take the video version of that and you can create a channel. So I think one of the best decisions I made right from the get-go was that I was going to create a video podcast. I used to call it vidcast, right? And just strip the audio, put it over here, take the video, put it over there. And so what happened was, and that was a good idea because Spotify bought Anchor. Well, what did Spotify do? They said, hey guys, this video thing is taking off. So we're going to allow you to upload your video, which I already edited for YouTube, and we'll strip the audio of it, which is already edited, and we'll put that on there, and we'll put your video. So if somebody wants to watch it, or if they want to listen, they can make a choice. And I was like, perfect, because that's what I've been saying all along, right? And so now editing is a one-time deal, and I post it, and it goes across both my audio platform and my video platform all the same. I don't have to change anything. I don't have to update anything, and they just take it. And so having a video component to your podcast from the get-go will facilitate you hitting two birds with one stone, and so you'll be able to clip your little clips all you want. You'll be able to, push them as shorts to everywhere, and, get those little, oh, that's a clip. Oh, that's a clip, right? You'll see those, and they'll push you back to the audio side or your whatever podcast platform you got, and you maximize your effort. You don't want to have to create another video after you done did your podcast for, so it was the best thing I could have ever done.
Oh, I love that. So are you uploading it? If you don't mind me asking, who do you use as for distribution for your podcast?
Yeah. So Spotify distributes to everybody.
Okay.
So they distribute the audio. But guess what? Apple has gone to Spotify's model, and they're uploading video.
I didn't, dude, you just blew my mind. I did not know that if you upload stuff to Spotify, so it'll distribute it to all the other places like all Apple and Deezer and what is it, Red, iHeart and stuff like that.
Yep.
Wow. So you could just make a content creators thing on Spotify, and you could bypass using places like Red Circle, places like podcast.co.
So what happens is this. Those things, those externals like Amazon, and the ones that you named, they're all independent, but they all go to by your RSS feed. Well, your RSS feed is uploaded by your platform. So they're going to get that anyway, right? But so you got to have a hosting site, and you share your RSS feed with all these other independents, so they get updated. But if there's a section there that they will take the audio like Apple does, the video, they'll take the video as well. And so now these podcasts, which are audio only, are now biting the video bread, right? They're eating that now and saying, hey, this is something that people are looking. And if you look at my channel on my analytics for my show, there are more people viewing the video than they are listening to.
The tables have turned because there
Yeah.
used to be audio used to be that way.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you got travelers, I got a good bunch of people that still are on audio. But if I look at it, they're clicking that video more than they are listening. So it was a good thing that you can go back to all of my files. And Spotify is doing this other extra thing now that they are allowing you to load your clips on there.
No way.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wow. So
load a
they're
clip.
taking like the TikTok and YouTube model for shorts too.
Yep. You can load a clip as a teaser. And so the clip that I've been cutting out and sending to the people, I take that and I load it right on there.
Wait, that's crazy.
Yep.
Dude, I didn't know that. I'm actually looking at Spotify. Oh my God.
If you go to your episode on Spotify, if you use Spotify, you'll be in your creator page, right? Your creator where you load. There is analytics, details, comments, clips.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah.
And now you could click on that and you could load a clip that you have on that, and they'll share that. So what they're doing is they're starting like YouTube. They're starting to probably use these reels and gravitate people. And so, but you can't do that if you don't have a clip.
Wow.
So
dude, that is good stuff. That actually help. Now I'm being selfish. That's going to help me out, right?
good.
Because one thing that I've been doing, the last few years is my platform has been audio first because I had so many different moving parts in my life that it's just impossible. But what I've done is I'm not like, okay, we're not going to use the camera and not use it. I have the video. So that's just blowing my mind because I can go back and, over 200 something episodes and upload the video. That is freaking cool, and not have to use none of the distributions like podcast.co and just go straight to Spotify. That is a game changer. And I'm wondering, what are places like the traditional distribution places, what are they doing to combat this? Because it sounds like to me that they're putting them out of business.
And that's, if you think about it, that's typically, the whole end game is I'm doing something that you can't. And so do you want to sell? That's what they're going to be saying, right? Do you want to sell? And we could gobble you up as well. But that's the difference between businesses, even in the podcast world. If you're answering a call, something that people need and are wanting, if you could do it first, they'll go to you first.
Yeah.
They'll stay with you. And so now I was happy with Anchor as it was. I was happy with Spotify, but once they started doing a video, I said, I ain't going nowhere else because nobody else is doing it. Except that now Apple has just gone to it.
Wow.
And so you will see a lot of these audio only start to go to video. Now, the majority of the population in the podcast world are just doing audio. But I love to be one of those early adopters, right? I like being there first. And so by the time people catch up, my stuff is being out there a whole lot longer.
Wow. And are you seeing the benefit with as far as increase in download and views and stuff like that since you've been doing the video that way?
I have. And the funny thing, this comes up in the class, and I always love this section right here when I talk about downloads. I will tell you, and I'm pulling it up right now. I have been doing this since February 2020, audio and video. When, especially when we talk about sponsors and this and that and the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, how many, I've been doing this for 5 years. How many of you can guess how many downloads I got? Oh, yeah. They're throwing numbers. They're throwing numbers that they think they're going to see.
7 million.
Yeah. And I tell them, you're going to be floored when I tell you this number. And I'm going to tell you right now, on Spotify, 13,511.
I love it.
All time. 5 years. 13,511. There's people that get that in one episode.
Yeah, but they're not doing nothing with it.
What I'm trying to tell the audience is, don't look at that.
Yeah.
Don't look at that. I have spoken to, if I can sum up my experience as a podcaster, I have a president of a nation in my inbox. We text a president of a nation. I have royalty in that area on my dial. The podcasting has opened up a world that I would not be part of.
Yeah.
And that alone pays me.
There you go.
Because those individuals, when they think of me and they think of the fact that I had them on the show, I'm not going to talk for them, but I feel they love me. I feel that they feel some level of appreciation. And when things come up and they think of Enrique would make the best person for that, they give me a call, or they'll text me, or they'll send me a message. And I am part of that. And so that's something that these numbers will never give me.
Wow.
And Tony, you and I had media professional of the year. And those are the numbers that I got.
Yep. No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. It's what you do with them. And that kind of brings me, because I was going to ask you about the importance of networking. I know people that have shows that have 1 million downloads, and they're not doing a damn thing with it. It's like having this this big beautiful house, but it's like it's all ugly on the inside, but it's beautiful on the outside. But it's like, what can you do with it? Like, I remember talking about the benefits of podcasting. I remember me and you coming up with a strategy for, I was talking to one of the biggest motivational speakers of all time, trying to come up with a strategy, but it was because of the podcast that put you in the door, right? And so many other different opportunities, different politicians, and it's election time, dude. My phone, freaking, you can go through my phone and you're just like, whoa, that's incredible. They want you to do what? So you're exactly, I think you're hitting on something so big. Like, it's not about the downloads. And of course, like, when it comes to sponsors, sponsors, that's one of the first things that they ask when it comes to that. And I've kind of gone away from the sponsorship model to sponsoring, kind of me sponsoring my own podcast because of it, because I felt like I was working too hard working too hard for them. And I'll be honest with you, I was my last sponsor. They told me they wanted me to wear a Marine Corps hat, and they were like putting something in the deal, and I'm just like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that. That's not nothing against it. I love my Marine Corps, but you're not going to tell me what to do and how to do it. I know you've been really good with getting sponsors. Tell me about it. A good way to get sponsors. How have you had situations like that to where you're just like, nah, you're fired, I'm good?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love talking about this right here because and I shared this with you. So my first year, and if I got 13,000 all time, I didn't have hardly nothing the first year. The first year we had an opportunity to have a sponsor, and we took it, right? It was a very lucrative 10 grand.
Okay, I love it.
10 grand, first sponsor. I was like, what? Well, that first sponsor bought all of our equipment. We bought, and this was me and my partner, Vince. We had all of our equipment purchased, and we had $5 grand in the bank. Okay, cool.
Coming in hot.
Yeah. Oh, we was feeling ourselves. But halfway through, Vince says, hey, you might want to check your phone. I'm like, well, check my phone. He goes, and I look, I see a video. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Who is that? It was a bunch of dudes in suits brawling in Las Vegas, brawling in suits. And I'm like, what kind of thing? And I look, it was the company that sponsored us. I was like, oh no. I said, Vince, man, we was praying for 6 months that we would just lay low and nobody, we're a leadership podcast. And so this is the lesson we learned from that. We are eternally grateful because the quality of the show just went skyrocket with all the equipment we got. Skyrocket. 4K cameras, lighting, green. I mean, you name it, we got it. And so we are eternally grateful. This sponsorship thing is so critical to your show because you getting into an agreement with somebody that's not willing to represent your show and you can't represent them in your show. It's a mortal sin. Your days are numbered. And so, and depending on how long you sign that thing, luckily we only did a year. After that, we was like, no, nope, not you. We thank you, but not you. And so I changed my model, and that was the kind of like a real bad lesson because I was praying the rest of the 6 months. Oh Lord, please don't let nothing else come up.
You don't want this
to
get out.
Nobody apply us to these junkers. So anyhow, I said, you know what? I'm gonna make this painless, and I'm gonna make this a fun thing. So I said, okay, who would I love that I know I've already vetted that is a good fit to sponsor us for whatever? And I went from the sponsorship in money to the sponsorship in what we called in kind. What I would like for this show to have this year. So that was year one. We had one, and I was like, forget the money. I don't want the money. Not like that. Then I said in kind, meaning things that I like to receive. So I said, there's a global platform. So there's a global magazine that I would love for them to sponsor us because they have what we speak to. the
Mm-hmm.
global. And so that's how we got that Global Times,
This is so good.
right? The Global Times magazine, they was Global Times. Now they are Global Trends magazine, but the Global Times at first, they had a worldwide viewership. And after discussing with them, this, then, and the other, they agreed. And so now the Global Trends magazine is our sponsor. What they do is they make sure that people in the world that they service know that they are sponsoring, and they put this whole one-page spread on me,
Oh, I
a
love it.
podcast, and it went out, and they millions of people. And so that was one way that we were able to get a global platform to host us. And it was a relationship. I already knew them, I trusted them, and I still do. And they have done right. And so the next one was a company that I love. I love what Melissa, my fellow Navy vet, does. She has a coffee company, and I drink coffee. So what better, And so after talking to her, we were able to work something out, and they've been our sponsor since year 2.
Wow.
They have been Fantail Services, another leadership development company, led by my brother, man, John Minyard. And he said, "Hey, I would love to bless you some way." And I said, "Well, this will be a way if you could sponsor the show." Year 2, man, he was on board. He's still on board.
Wow.
So what happened with the sponsorship piece in my show, it became a family affair. I only have people sponsor me that I can call family. If I cannot call them family, they will not be sponsoring our show, because they've proven themselves out in the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
I get to, basically sing their praise every week for the 52 weeks and get them some clients if I, hopefully that they listen to it. And we strengthen our relationship. They provide something like, Melissa, Southern Sweet and Sassy Coffee. How cool is that name?
Mm-hmm.
They send me every 1st of January, man. They send me a big old 5-pound bag of beans and rice. I mean, of coffee, right?
Yeah.
And I enjoy that. I support them. Hopefully, they get some business throughout the year. I buy my own coffee through them.
Mm.
Support them, and it has been the best thing I've ever did.
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid of the performance side of it, as far as like, oh, I have to get 1,000 people, 1,000 eyeballs on their product or on their service. How do you curtail that point of it?
Yeah, well, I share everything about them on all my platforms.
I love it.
LinkedIn alone is 24,000 people,
Mm-hmm.
right? That they have a potential. At a minimum, 2,400 if you take that 10% algorithm stipulation that they have. And I continuously will speak about them, right? The Outlier Project, one of my, I love that community. They have been one of the greatest supporters. If I've gotten to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, they have had a heavy hand in it. And
Wow.
so, it's things like that. Like I said, you got to be willing to call them family and say, and know that you're being supported by them. And you do that. I got a meditation app, that I partner with for leaders that need meditation apps for
You're like
stress
reading
and
my
stuff.
mind. That's what I'm working on right now. Yeah, keep
Yeah,
going.
and then I also have one that facilitates video clips for me
Yeah.
throughout the year. They're starting out. I'm trying to get them their word out, for people to go check them out as a starting business and get them support as well. But yeah, the Ascend Meditations is the app for meditation that I have as sponsors, and Chop AI is the clip version that I use for my clips.
Oh, that's super dope. I know we're going over it, but this is so good. You still got a little bit of time?
Yeah, brother.
Okay. Something else, man, I know everybody's listening and watching this. They're writing this stuff down. Hopefully you're writing this down, because this is some good stuff. The way my brain is working, hopefully y'all will do this, is everything that he's saying, think about how you can take it and apply it to your own situation, with not just your podcast, but with your content, any piece of art or anything that you're creating. You can duplicate this, right? And you're not stealing what he's saying, you're duplicating. And that's why we're teaching you the stuff that we're teaching you, because it's working. I see it work. I wouldn't have Enrique on the show if I'm not seeing it work. I've been seeing it work for freaking half a decade now. He is freaking killing it, right? The last thing that I wanted to touch on was the awards.
Mm-hmm.
I've noticed that you get, it seems like I see posts, you get an award every freaking week. How has that part changed for you, and how do you go about getting those awards? Because I know there's we seek them, some or most, they seek us, and then what's the benefit of having and displaying it?
Yeah, so you see a lot going on. I was saying this to myself yesterday, man. People are gonna get tired of seeing these things, but
it's inspiring, man.
So I have Triad Leadership Solutions, which is my leadership consulting firm. They get my work through that gets a lot of praise, right? So that's how you'll see top 50 thought leaders in diversity and inclusion. That's through Triad. That my work through the leadership side. On the podcast side, there's another set of awards like Media Professional of the Year, top 50 over 50 podcasters, right? Which, by the way, I was number 3. Mel Robbins was number 1.
That's dope.
So I'm in that company, right? I'm in that group. And so
I also saw you freaking get an award with Beyonce's daddy too.
Yes, that's through my leadership, right? So that's through the leadership side, not the podcast. But I'll have these things in tandem, and it seems like, man, Enrique, bro, but they're both working at the same time.
Yeah.
And why I bring that up is that you could have a podcast, and you could do your deal, and multiply the effort, right?
Yeah.
And so my podcast was the first supporter of or my company was the first supporter of my podcast, right? Kind of like what and I think we've discussed that before. Mm-hmm. So awards, right? There are some awards that you will have to bet on yourself to win, right? This last spring, there was the first ever Veteran Entertainment Awards for movie makers, right? Veterans that are movie makers.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it, and I said, "Yo, that's cool." And I said, "Well, I do videos. It's a podcast, but it's a video.
It's a movie.
It's a movie." And I said, "I'm gonna put my podcast in this thing." Check this out. Not only did I submit for it, they didn't have a category for it, but they viewed the show and they thought of it so much that they created a special mention in the awards ceremony.
Wow.
To highlight, and I got the video at the end hey, these are guys that are doing some great things. We don't have a category for it, so they're not going to win an award. But here's this special mention.
Wow.
In the first ever Veteran Entertainment Awards, which is basically, folks, the Oscars for veterans that are doing film. And here's my name on one of these slides. And you know what's coming up this next time?
What's that?
A podcast category.
Wow. So
Now,
wow.
not only did I bet on myself, but now I made them aware that there is this veteran community making podcasts that are video. And now it's a category for next year.
That's incredible.
So bet on yourself. Look for these things. Now, I'll give credit to my sister that made me aware. She was the one that sent me, and she said, hey, Enrique, check this out. And I was like, bet, right? Kind of like you. Hey, Tony, check this out, bro. And boom, Tony wins, right? So you got to be that type of person as well, right? It's nice to get them, but it's nicer when somebody else gets them because you let them know, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
so these awards are out there. Do your research. Get into the communities. The podcast community is a great resource for that. That 50 over 50 came from my podcast community. The MW the Emmy award, the Military Entertainment Awards came from my military community. Get your communities, man. Get in there, share your stuff, and you'll see a lot of gain. Now, I've been fortunate. These awards have come to me. I pile them on the podcast side. I'm piling them on the leadership development side. And you just never know who you're going to be paired with in these awards. Like Mel Robbins, you know, Beyonce dad, I'm like, what? Who? How? and sooner or later, you'll realize that you don't need those numbers to be recognized. If they went by those numbers alone, I would not be recognized, right? To have me and Dr. Knowles in the same company, JJ Burden, it's a crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But yet, here we are. And I always am conscious that I only got about 30, 40 years left, man. And so I'm gonna give it my all. Yeah, I'm a die, but you gonna remember my name.
I'm gonna die, but you're gonna remember my name for this the last question, man, because I know, man, we've gotten so much value out of this. For the people right now that are doubting themselves, I know that they're listening to the show. I'm 100% sure they're doubting themselves. They're saying, nobody wants to hear my voice. There's no way that I could grow a podcast like Tony, or grow a podcast like Enrique, and get these sponsors. What would you say to them?
That was me. I ensured it was short-lived, the feeling, and I bet on myself. And you have to do the same thing. But now you got to hear my story. So now you don't got no excuses. It's time to bet on yourself and give yourself a chance. If it doesn't work, hey, not everything works. But if you go at it in a methodical, well-structured way, you'll be able to last 5 years or more and still enjoy it. And that's the whole point of it. If you're not going to enjoy it, if it's going to be a task, then don't start. But if you're just like afraid here and there, you have plenty of people to talk to give you a fighting chance from the beginning. And so that's what we've been discussing this whole hour and change. Yeah. Giving you a fighting chance to go ahead and launch and stop being afraid, right? Like Podfest would say, just start ugly. Start ugly. Man, everybody starts there, right? But you could do it. And if along the way you feel yourself lacking in encouragement, just go back to this episode.
I love it. I love it, man. Thank you, Enrique, man. This has been incredible, man. You've brought so much value, man. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, man. You know that, dude. I think the world of you. For the listeners, the viewers, if you want to hear more about Enrique's story away from podcasting, check it out. I'm thinking, don't quote me on this episode. You're going to learn a lesson from me. Always have this stuff written down someplace. I think it's around episode 50 or something. Just type it up, Enrique Gonzalez on the podcast. You'll hear about his story, some of the trials and tribulations of going through the ranks of leadership. Such an incredible and powerful story, right? I'm super blessed to be able to have that story on this platform, but then have what he's been able to do with that story, which I think makes the world of a difference. I know that you have a story inside of you. I know that there's a message inside of you. So just listen to Enrique. Go ahead and start it. Start that podcast. Start creating those videos. Start making that content. You never know what can happen with it. So with that being said, thank you again, Enrique. I appreciate it. And we are out.
Whew, that was great. If you enjoyed this podcast, well, I'm sure you enjoyed it. If you're still here with us, what I want you to do is head over to your favorite podcast and streaming network and give us a download, subscribe to the channel, and also let us know what you think about the show. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you for the things that you've done. Thank you for the things that you're doing. And especially thank you for the things that you're going to do, because I know that you're going to do something amazing.